the price of games. Rise up, standard price, the loss of legs. My occupation, in essence, not complacent. Block the banquet, stop the computation. I'ma make the coda, fools just wanna make the quota. They can't rock around here, they need baking soda. This a hydra, no way they taking over. Lay them below the basement with snakes and cobras.
Like, I have this schmutz on my shirt. On my
I can't see it.
I can't see it.
My daughter is a little bit under the weather, and I was trying to hold her while she had snot running down her nose, and I was like, oh. Or this,
yeah, but you could walk up to your serial killer fashion closet anytime you wanted and picked out a different black t-shirt.
Dude, I love my serial killer fashion closet.
It's a Filipino serial killer closet.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Okay. Actual recording, it says on this screen, is higher quality.
What does
I'm
that
just
mean?
waiting. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just waiting for Mateo's internet to catch up.
By the way, I want. Yeah. Oh, I'm on now. I see the red dot.
Okay.
By the way,
There it is.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you, because we were chatting a little bit before recording. When we don't record, do you see me like properly? And then my image starts being grainy after? Okay. Gotcha.
It just started this second as you asked that
Just
question.
this second. Yeah.
Fuck.
It's the whole
It's
process.
so frustrating because, and also the fact that I'm slightly delayed. So every time it feels like I'm interrupting somebody when we talk. And I have the reaction, like your faces react later to what I'm saying. So it's it's a little
As
bit
a
of
comedian,
a mindfuck,
it's really
but
hard for you.
as a comedian, as you know, since you all know that my main thing is being a comedian, it's frustrating, but spaghetti Wi-Fi.
Spaghetti Wi-Fi.
Fettuccine internet.
Fettuccine internet. Here's the thing. I don't notice that. It's a small delay, maybe 2 seconds at most, right, Maddie?
Yeah. Not even 2 seconds. I think it's like a second and something, but it's enough for me.
Okay.
It's enough. It's enough to be annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's my point. Even in real life, there are plenty of times when we are talking and I look over to you and your brain is processing what we're saying, So it's the same, only you're over there and we're over here,
Yeah.
All
Especially
right.
if when we're talking, I have some concept going on in my head, and all of a sudden I start thinking in Italian. I lose track of what you guys are saying, and I get, I need a few seconds to, get back to English mode. And
so for our audience, just think of it like that, like Mateo has concepts, quote unquote, concepts in his head. And then when he doesn't reply quickly, it's because he's switching gears from Italian, Fiat 500 to Toyota or to Chevy Blazer, Okay, so here we are again in the train wreck that never ends, right? We keep putting it back on. We leave every week, and I'm like, that train is done. Every passenger there is dead. Nobody's going. And I come back, and you guys have like put it back together with Scotch tape and popsicle sticks. So this is episode 162. Right, Shawn?
I will tell you in a second here. I just wrote it down. 159.
God damn it.
Close enough.
Like sometimes get closer. You know what I mean? Actually, to be honest with you, I only know 5 numbers. It's 95, 162, and 200. So it's one of these days. One of those. I'm going to be wrong on one of them. How are you guys doing? Right. How's your week? Has it been crazy? What are you guys up to?
Nothing special. I just, you know, I'm just working.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I'm just doing, as you can easily imagine, I'm just doing covers right now. So
here we go. What covers are you working on, Mateo? Or is it easier to say what covers are you not working on?
Yeah, exactly. There's 500 comics. It's easier to say to 3 that he's not drawing for. You know?
Yeah, I just finished some Batman covers, and then I did a cover for Tony Daniel for his upcoming book. And then what else? I'm doing some stuff for New York. I'm gonna try and have a more relaxed show, especially because my family's gonna be there. So I don't wanna, what does it mean? Yeah, I'm doing commissions in advance and stuff that I have to do. Okay. I wanna try and do as much as possible as I can before the show, so that I don't have to be too stressed out during the show. And yeah, that's it. As soon as I finish this things, I'm gonna go back to my book. Hopefully, the goal is to finish issue number 1 before leaving for New York in a month.
Oh, nice.
So, we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see if I'm able to. 16
Very
pages
nice.
left. So, how about you, Shawnee boy?
For the both of you.
I'm slowly digging my way out of the pit that I've been in for a little while.
What's the pit? Are you?
It's just work.
Talk about the pit.
Yeah, it's just I'm behind on. I mean, I shouldn't say behind. I'm behind where I want to be on way too many things. So it's just knocking things out a little bit, and every time I knock 1 or 2 out, one more comes down the pipeline. But now I'm starting to get some momentum, so I'm knocking out 2, and then 1 will come in. So I'm getting there.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have different pairs of glasses for the level of serious that you need to be, where you're like, I'm wearing these goofy ass ones because everything is just kind of like easy breezy, you know? And then like the mode that you switch into, I've got to put on these other glasses because it's getting a little bit more serious. And then finally, the nobody mess with me right now, I've got these glasses on. Do you have those?
Speaking of which, no, I'm kidding. No, I just have different strengths for the reader.
For glasses?
Yeah, they're readers. They're not like prescription.
Oh, okay. Wait. But you have multiple pairs of them. You just don't have the one.
Right, because they're all different strengths. That's why I have multiple pairs. So, what?
How does that? You're a conundrum to me.
I'm a conundrum to myself, Eric. Well,
First of all, let me give you a point of reference. When it comes to your guys' fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think I uncovered this the other day. Like I was thinking about you guys lovingly, right? I promise it was loving.
Here we go.
So when it comes to your guys' no, I was pretending my head was your head. I was pretending that my balls was your chin. So anyway, here's the thing, right? When Mateo makes an off-putting, that's a bad idea to wear those clothes, right? I think of it as, Mateo just doesn't know any better. He does things out of comfort, you know, like a comfortable old lady, right? He's just like, that feels good to me. I'm just going to put it on, right? So I go like, he can't help himself. It's coming from a good place of like, hey, this feels good on me. I like what I like, right? Mm-hmm. Shawn actively puts on like the most fucked up pieces of clothes that I've ever seen in my life. Like that doesn't on any color chart that's not complimentary at all. They're all just bad choices, but on purpose, right? So similarly, when you're like wearing glasses, I go like, what do you need different strength? I think you have glasses for just moods now. I wasn't too far off earlier, right? It's not strength. It's just mood.
It's what I'm doing. Like, right now, I mean, I can see fine when I'm looking at a computer screen mostly. So these are very weak. But when I'm drawing, I need more help seeing the tip of the pencil. And then when I'm inking, I need even more help to see the tip of the brush.
But
and the reason...
sorry, okay, go ahead. Then I'll tell you the reason. My reason. Your reason, in my opinion. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And it's not going to be a joke. It's going to be funny, but not a joke at all. I genuinely think that.
Okay. The reason being, I don't want to wear my strongest glasses all the time because I'm afraid I'm going to weaken my eyes. So I use the minimal strength I need for everything I'm doing.
Is that how it works? Okay, go ahead, Maddie.
No, well, I don't think that's how it works. I'm just telling you that's what my mind says.
Okay, I think this is a big excuse for how specific Shawn is with every single detail in his life. So let me give you this example. Like every time we do shows, we try to share. We try to share, the room, and every time we do that, there's a specific section of the room that is dedicated to all of, and it's a big section dedicated to all of Shawn's accessories, all of his, there's a corner for all the spiels, and then a corner for all his earrings and how do you call it? The rings. And the other thing, so every time there's a ritual in which Shawn is to take, I'm going to take this pill, then I'm going to wear this accessory, and then this and this and that. And the whole process takes a lot of time. So I think that Shawn just loves, having a lot of, different accessories and shit. And then that translates to glasses too. So,
yeah. Hey, you know what? Now that you've said it out loud, I can't agree more than what you said.
I'm not sharing with you guys ever again.
At the end of the day, we've seen it all, buddy. So it's not like we're going to be missing anything. I think it's Shawn naturally has the bag that has all of his clothes and his art, and he has a separate check-in bag for all of his accessories, man, and his pills, right?
Yeah.
And his product. Shawn wears a lot of product.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it's a lot. It's excessive. You know what I mean? I think Shawn's a dandy. Shawn's not in a demeaning way, but just by definition, Shawn's a dandy. Shawn's a fancy guy.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like a modern day dandy. I'm into it. All right, well, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We are.
Thank you for joining Beating Up on Shawn today.
Speaking of beating up on Shawn. Speaking of beating up on Shawn, you put something online yesterday that I wanted to follow up on because it seemed like you had something to say, and I said, "Hey, knock it off," and you're like, "Eric, come on, man, I didn't mean it that way." And I was like, "Dude, we know each other, I didn't mean." But the thing is, people don't know the way we talk with each other, right? So,
what's that?
So people were like, "Oh, are these guys?" Okay, give Mateo context, Shawn. Go ahead.
I'm gonna.
Are you talking about the reel I made? Talking about tradition and craft and how modern technology is a bunch of shortcuts. Are you talking about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I posted a reel. It was just a me inking, and it was a little saying. I was just talking generally. I don't remember exactly what it said, but the idea was...
It was yesterday, Shawn. Come on, dude.
Dude, there's too much shit going on in my life to remember that. The idea was... let's not forget where the techniques and traditions of where drawing in this medium came from, because digital media offers so many shortcuts. It makes it easier, it makes you faster, but there's a whole bunch of people that don't even know that the shortcut exists, as Eric pointed out. That was the gist of the reel. Hey, let's keep craft alive.
Which is on brand for Shawn, right? But I think the way I
did you respond anything to it?
I pooped all over it, dude, as much as I possibly could. I said things like, "You're such a fucking elitist. Get out of here with that bullshit." No, I said, I think one of the things that I'd want to consider is that people we automatically assume that, and we all know who I'm talking about when I mention this particular artist, so we don't have to go by name. There's plenty of times when we were watching this artist and you're like, "Oh, you built that brush. You didn't make that pencil mark, or you didn't do that design. You built a brush that allowed you to just like stroke it through the digital, whatever, the digital interface.
So
and
since
now there's chains.
I'm not understanding what you're talking about, can you say it and then Jamie can blip it?
Yeah, I think so. Right, Jamie?
Jamie, knock, knock.
I don't know who you're talking about, Eric. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about.
You were talking about the young person that used to join us at our conventions.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
All right, so they got a lot of slack for the shortcuts that they were. Well, Shawn was giving them crap for the shortcuts that was happening in that space. And then I thought, I had two brains, which is like, if you have fucking shortcuts, you know what I mean? Like the old man, get off my lawn kind of thing. But generally, I don't know if some of these people even understand that it's a shortcut, right?
I agree.
It's just all they know. You know what I mean? Like I've seen now a couple of times on, on some of these sites where you buy brushes for Procreate. Procreate makes things so easy. Like literally, Matteo, and I have a brush now where you can just like brush it on the screen, and different pattern. Depending on which brush you choose, the patterns of the windows show up. You know what I mean? Like for buildings and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Oh fuck. All right.
I have a brush now that is all. What do you call it? That's just like a standardized pose of somebody pointing. You know what I mean? And you just stamp it down. And you just draw around it, so you don't have to worry about building the construction anymore.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. I've heard of something like that. I mean? There's a friend of us that is into a lot of this programs and stuff, and they were telling me that there's this program in which you can insert a certain number of 3D shapes, like for example, like buildings.
Yeah.
As long as the program has like 4 or 5 different buildings and the program can kind of extract the style of the buildings, it can build a whole city following these models. And it's random every time. Yeah. So bridges and shit and streets and everything. It's I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. I'll probably never use it because I'm too lazy to learn, but
Yeah, but here's what this is how they, and I've heard this in multiple conversations. They're like, I want to learn this thing that is like super time consuming and abrasive now. Take 2 weeks, 3 weeks to learn it, because I know once I incorporate it into my pipeline moving forward, especially if you're the kind of guy that just draws. Imagine being a Spider-Man artist, You're like, I know I'm going to end up drawing buildings and houses and streets and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to, learn this thing for 2 weeks as best as I can, because I know in my future, I won't even have to think about it anymore, So the point that I was trying to make was that there's a whole generation who don't even know that they're using shortcuts. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all they've ever known are these tools. The stuff that is readily available to us now, super easy to go on YouTube, super easy to go on Gumroad, super easy to go on like ArtStation. You see all of the things that these guys are doing, the tutorials that they're offering, and you go like, and those guys are already handing out shortcuts to begin with. So there is no part of their learning that makes them go like, oh, I don't understand why. So here's one. Like I had to learn this. I learned this about several months ago. I was like, oh, there's a reason why lens flares look the way they do. Have you ever seen that? Like different types of lens flares have a different shape.
What's a lens flare?
Have you seen it before, you guys? Like, when the light for whatever hits the camera directly and you see it like do the circle and the bright.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Think about Ridley Scott.
Right. There's a reason why, and to the nth degree, J.J. Abrams was doing it all over a bunch of his Star Trek movies. Anyway, people put that in their drawings, that effect, right? And then there's a way that the lens flare happens, where they go like, I go like, oh, okay, that's clearly a lens flare, and you see it all over the place, so you just take it into account. But I'm watching YouTube videos of these guys who actually handle cameras and the explanation of lens flares and why they do, and I'm like, there's a reason why that shape happens, And oftentimes it's not even because of the sun, it's because of the lens.
Okay.
Right? Because the aperture on the lens forms that very specific shape. And that's what's getting bounced back into the backside of the lens. And that's what the camera is picking up.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's the fucking fascinating shit. That's awesome to know. But there's a stamp out there where I just go like, boop, and it's lens flare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a weird place to be in. Like, I understand, like, wanting to defend like traditional work and the both the pleasure and how useful it is to learn this stuff and learn how to do it like personally with your hands. But on the other hand, there's a fair chance, or at least there's a risk that you become like the guy who's from the 80s or the 20s, like you guys. And sorry, I had to put a joke in there. Well, sorry. All right.
Thank you for including Eric in the old man comment, not just me. I appreciate
no, hold on a second. Keep in mind, he said 2 generations. He said 80s. That's me. He also said the 20s.
You guys, yeah.
That's you.
I wanted to specify it.
See,
I'm
you guys,
way younger than you
Eric.
guys. Yeah, you two.
Guys,
And
plural.
so we should be renaming the podcast "Two Old Men and a Kid." By the way, all right, back to the subject. So
Two old men and a dumb shark.
So there's a fair chance that you become the old guy who complains with young people.
That's true.
Because they don't understand how the world was without the internet. You know, it's like, you realize that back then I couldn't send an email, and if I had to, if I needed information, I had to go to a library, find a book, and spend time to read it. And what a young person should tell you, like, yeah, sorry it happened to you, but this is what I have right now, and I would feel stupid not to use it. So it's a weird, I understand where Shawn comes from because I'm the same.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's hard for me to blame. So it's
right. So let me explain my stance. Let me explain my stance here, because it's not that I'm against technology at all. I do use it.
I think you are.
No. What I'm for is learning the traditions and applying it to technology. Not just like not foregoing the knowledge of, say, perspective, because the computer will do it for me, so that you have an understanding of it, so that your work can be better because of that understanding. So when the computer does something that doesn't work, you can see it and fix it and catch up on it. And I think there's a danger to just following what's fast and easy. The end of that road can really be a bleak picture of all the art forms.
Or
I absolutely,
right?
I absolutely got your point.
Best success ever.
I absolutely got your point, and I agree with you. What I was saying is there's a risk that when you say so, it sounds to some ears, it sounds like this is just an old guy that is envious because we're young and we have it all easier. That's
this is what Eric was kind of pointing that out. My response to that was, well, then that opens me up for my next post. Digital media helps a lot with speed, efficiency, and all these things, and it's great. Just learn the traditions too.
Yeah, I think that's where people were like, in one particular case specifically, somebody pushed back and like, this is the same tired sort of rhetoric that somebody was telling me when I was in animation school, when they say like, traditional animation is better than digital animation and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I think you conflated what Shawn was talking about, because that's not what he was saying at all. I know the guy, he's not coming from that place. I think it's more of like understanding and more people agreed with Shawn than not, which is to say, hey, you should have a baseline understanding of where this stuff comes from, so that if and when you decide to tweak it or like do something more, if you're a little bit more liberal with whatever it is that you end up sort of like manipulating, you at least know the foundation of the you know, whatever it is, right? So if it's environments, if it's perspective, if it's anatomy, you have a baseline understanding of that, and then you can tweak it any way that you want, which, you know, I think I agree with wholeheartedly, right?
And
but
another
thing,
go ahead,
Sean. Go ahead.
I was just, no, you finish that because my point's kind of separate. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I was saying, like, so yeah, the point that I was trying to underline was like all of these things that, you know, to what you were saying, Matteo. You know, Shawn's like an old man standing on the porch of his like old rundown derelict house, eating his bowl of like, you know,
and constantly changing his glasses.
Like frosted
bowl of
bran,
mush.
yeah, like bran. You know what I mean? Like the kind that's like, have you seen that? It's like a square like this, but it's frosted on one side, but it's just nothing but like wheat and grass on the other. It's like straw cereal. Shawn is just sitting there trying to dump as much oat milk because his body can't handle lactose anymore. You know. In a robe that he's worn for like 7 days, two different colored socks, and like slippers that don't even fit his entire foot. You know, it'll barely.
And
like, it's not even his
coffee stains. Don't forget the coffee stains.
He's not. It's not his shoes. You know what I mean? It's his neighbor's shoes that he just took. Like it's the gel shoes a 15-year-old girl would wear. That's what he's wearing on his porch right now. So anyway, he's like yelling at people. You know, hey. How dare you drive in front of my house with your gas-powered automobile? You know, like, I don't know what it is. Like, hey, man, I remember when cars used to be powered by horses and gasoline. You know, how dare you drive that electric car? There's an entire generation who've known nothing but electric cars. You know, like that's
not only that, it's I kind of understand them because it's like having like 7 cars, you know, in your garage, and one, I'm going to quote you from previously. It's a what car do you quote earlier? The 500? No. A Punto?
A Fiat 500?
A Fiat 500.
Oh, the
okay. One is a Fiat 500, and then one is slightly better and up, and the last one is a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or whatever the fuck you like, a sport car. And somebody's telling you, listen, you should start from the Fiat 500, you know, and keep the Lamborghini in the garage so that you learn how to drive a shitty car. Then you go up and learn how to drive a better car and better and better. And probably in 6-7 years, you get to enjoy the Lamborghini because you're a great, you know, driver. So the Lamborghini will feel, you know, properly. I don't know how to say it, but and you're there and just driving a 500 and leaving the Lamborghini in the garage. So it's really hard to resist because everything's there. You know, you just download in 3 seconds. Well, 5 hours for me with my spaghetti Wi-Fi, but you just download a new program and you watch a lot of tutorials and in a week you can use it. And it's easy, you know. So it's it would be really hard, you know. It would be really hard, if I was them. So I kind of understand.
That's also because you're closer to their age than Shawn is. You know what I mean? So you understand
way closer
the mindset of a young, way closer to a young person. I like the fact that Matteo jumped in there. It was like way closer. He pressed on that button so hard.
It's funny because literally 1 month ago, I told you, I promised you guys that I would never make, you know, old versus young jokes again.
And we didn't believe you.
We never believed you. You know what I mean?
Never believed you would do that.
We didn't.
Because I'm young, but I lie a lot.
Yeah, no, you're a young liar, is what you are. Also, you have a very obvious. Do you know what a tell is, Matteo? Like when you're playing cards.
A tell?
You know, like when. Yeah, tell is like this signal, you know, subconscious signal that happens either through your body language or your face or something like that. That allows us to know that you're lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's when you open your mouth, you know, like I know for sure that you're about to fucking lie right now. Especially when you say like, hey guys, I'm not going to. I'm like, he's going to. You know, he's gonna fucking go to. What were you saying, Shawn? You wanted to push back.
I'm not anti-technology, and I use it. I probably use it more than I definitely use it more than you, Matteo. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I wasn't. No. My thing wasn't an attack to what you were saying, or I wasn't disagreeing with what you were saying. I was just, expanding on the subject. So I was trying to see the other side.
Nobody was saying you were anti-technology, Shawn.
I just don't want to be the old. I don't want to be that old man. Is what I'm saying. You guys pay me as the crank.
The
not at all.
Anti-technology thing was never on the table. Yeah, it was more like you're the anti-shortcut guy that's facilitated by technology, right? Okay. Does that perfectly capture it? Are you going to change into your anger glasses in a second? Are you going to?
Yeah, hold on. Okay. All right. Now.
Dark angry glasses.
Got my dark angry glasses. Actually, these match a little better. A little better contrast.
Yeah.
See, I knew it was aesthetics. I knew it was aesthetics. It had very little Eric, it has different power and different lenses and blah, blah, blah. Such a fucking liar, dude.
I want to get back to another, what I was going to say was it's a lot of these people who were very quick to adapt to shortcuts. Like I remember SketchUp coming out, which was do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I've actually used it here and there. Like for my amazing Mr. Freeze book, I had a guy making a 3D model of the Batmobile, which I used. Cool. I didn't trace it directly. I put it on the screen and redraw it, but I had a 3D model of it. Yeah.
So a lot of people adapted to using SketchUp for every background and using like Poser, which is like a 3D model you can put in any pose and just tracing a bunch of stuff. Now, well, fine. If that helps you get it done faster, do your thing. But these are the same people that are getting super angry about AI when it was fine when AI was helping them along and they helped it get there, but now they hate it.
No, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Similar to like, what AI, I think that where the biggest one of the biggest allergic reactions to AI is just like the one that makes me go like, how ambiguous is that statement? Is incredibly emotional, which is like AI is taking jobs. I'm like, okay, yeah, probably. It's in some capacity it is, especially when it comes to the art field, right? But this comes back to what we were talking about right now, which is like AI presents itself. I think the ethical part is the one that I really have issues with, where some guy comes in, puts in an AI piece of art and proclaims that it's there, knowing full well that 0% of that came from a space of them creating it. It was them thinking of this artist, this pose, this environment, this lighting, this whatever. Like it's prompt based. So the level of creativity stems from their ability to be able to like capture whatever it is in their head through words, not because they applied lighting knowledge, anatomical knowledge, environmental knowledge, perspective, all of those things, color, whatever it is. They don't apply any of that. They just like things. They just like the aesthetics of something. And AI facilitates how to make everything look harmonious, right? It knows how to stitch together those prompts and then put it together. So for instance, as a tool, if somebody goes like, I need a pose of X, Y, and Z, similar to what you would do with something like with SketchUp and Poser or whatever, I kind of need generally what the lighting is going to look like because it's something that I want to communicate to my artist or my team or whatever. Like, have it in front of you. Use it as that. It's when people put it up front and center and say, like, look at this thing that I created. And I guess in the broadest terms, somebody like you can argue, yeah, you created that because once there was nothing, you punched in a bunch of words and now there's something. I guess by in technicality, that's true. But it's when they start saying like they are like an AI artist, I almost like I have a hard time letting my eyeballs come back from the back of my skull because I roll it back there so much, like, oh my God,
but that's still, as you said it in the premise, it's a ethical thing, which, there's so little we can do about it, for sure. And at the end of the day, doesn't, that this ethical thing really doesn't affect me. But to me, the real problem
you have no ethics. I think that's why, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's how I decided to live my life with no ethics at all. So, and but yeah, the problem to me is, I think, way more specific and probably kind of legal, which is that all of this AI technology, the way it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm super ignorant about it, but the way they create these images, they just grab from a database of already existing images, and nobody asked for permission to use them, basically. And I think when the whole AI thing exploded, they interviewed might be wrong, but it was, I think, the CEO or one of the main guys over at Midjourney that was describing the project, and they were like, yeah, we used millions and millions of images online, so we couldn't, technically it was impossible to ask for permission for everything. So, and that's where the whole thing, doesn't work with me, because it's not, okay, so, since there were a million, you're justified to use all this database without, consent, just because there were millions, it's your job to ask for consent. And then if whoever says yes, you can use their images, and whoever says no, you don't have the consent, so you shouldn't do it. That's the legal part that it makes me, think. But other than that, it's, I saw some stuff that it's been made with AI, and it's incredible. So I still respect how amazing it is, this thing that's been created,
Sure.
Yeah, it's super compelling. If you take a look at the stuff that it's producing, it's when, like I said, it's when it's being used in lieu of somebody who can actually come up with a a more original, if there is such a thing as originality, like quote unquote original idea, as opposed to somebody who's just like, effectively appropriating other people's ideas and techniques. That, to me, I'm like, that's weird. So that is the murky no-go pool for me when it comes to AI. Is just the ethics behind it. It makes me go like, that's a little silly. All the other arguments, to me, I'm like, every time somebody who's pro AI, who clearly doesn't have any skill, I've seen plenty of accounts where it's like they have nothing in their Twitter account except for like retweeting like cat videos or whatever the fuck, right? And next thing you know, it just becomes like an AI art account, and then they go something like, these anti-AI people are just like gatekeeping or whatever. And I'm like, get out of here. Nobody's preventing you from going and actually learning this craft, right? The sentiment that's against you is because you didn't learn a craft. You learned a prompt. Somebody literally gave you, to put to Shawn, to the theme of our episode today, somebody gave you the shortcut to being relevant, but not because you were any good. It's because somebody else was good,
So I follow the Midjourney page on Facebook, and there's a lot of stuff that I find really interesting to see. But there was one guy, he was trying to do like these ornate, decorative, like almost Middle Eastern patterns. Yeah. And he couldn't get the software to do what he wanted. So he's like, how do I do this? Yeah. And so I was like, well, you could learn to draw, and then you could do whatever you see in your head. And then I got attacked from every angle, like I was saying something awful. And
what did they say? What could they possibly say to you at that? Was it because
they attacked me? They didn't attack me for I was right. Like no one argued my point. They were just like, how rude of you to come in here and treat your fellow group member this way. Like it was crazy to me, man.
I think it's a lot. It's two components. There's something that admirable about something like that, and in generally, not necessarily, not specifically. Generally, when you have a community of people who are just like down to do whatever that community is doing, right? They're all about the Kool-Aid that is like Midjourney and AI. it's admirable to watch them be so overprotective of each other in this thing that they're trying to do. You know, you look at them and you go like, that's just like any other fandom that's super into something that will defend it to the death. If you say something like, oh, G.I. Joe sucks or Buffy sucks, you know, like, how dare you come in here? We're a bunch of Buffy fans. How come you can, how dare you come in here and talk shit about one of the characters in the show? It's the same exact thing. That's admirable to me, but also it is just 2 steps away from being a cult. You know, where it's like,
exactly.
Are you defending this because you know that it at any point, it not necessarily Shawn, but like if somebody came in here and pulled at the seams, like if there was a string hanging out the end of the shirt, if I pulled on that seam, you know this whole thing is going to fall apart, right? Are you that defensive against it? Because, you know, if somebody attacks you for like poor, like some people always attack me for my poor anatomy. I love it. They were like, oh, dude, you can't draw X, Y, and Z. I'm like, yeah. Like, it's not that I can't. It's just that I don't, you know? But I don't go in there and I don't go in there and put on boxing gloves and debate you on the fucking internet, you know? Right. I just go like, whatever. You know, I'm confident enough in my ability to be able to do something, not to this one guy, not to have to like defend myself. But I think there's something about that community who are always on the defensive. And I suspect it's got a lot to do with the fact it's like if somebody challenges that thing enough, they know they don't have much to stand on, you know?
Right.
Well, also they've been attacked for the last few months, like left and right.
That's
so
true.
I kind of understand that in this moment specifically, they are pretty used to, you know, get defensive every time, you know, somebody says otherwise. So,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, I've seen the version where, you know, similar to what I just said about my conduct online, when somebody's like, hey, that's just fucking AI. They don't say anything. You're just like, okay, so I can't win you. You know, you're not the guy that I'm doing this for. I'm doing it for the 50,000 other people who are super down and into it.
Mm-hmm. But Shawn, by the way, speaking of which, I recently, maybe I already talked about it a few months ago, but I was at a show with we were chatting with other artists, and one of them showed me, I think it was Midjourney. They use Midjourney. They basically add a new script, and the script was in this fantasy world, and just to get inspiration, they're great artists, and just to get inspiration, just to start thinking about ideas and stuff. They basically grabbed the first panel or the first 2 panels description of the world, because it was an establishing shot, and they just put him in the AI, probably it was Midjourney, and they showed me like the results, and they were fucking amazing. Like it was like, speaking of, if you already know the craft and you use it as a tool to, you know, implement your game, that's oh my god, that's incredible. Yeah, like the models that the AI produced, it was incredible.
I'll say this without any irony. AI, especially when it comes to the visual medium, is a game-changing concept. It's a game-changing tool. It's unfortunate, just like with anything, you know, people go and abuse the heck out of it, right? Here's something I want to talk to you guys about, like especially when it comes to ads, but the ethics behind it. Did you hear about, and I can't remember which show it was. I'll research it a little bit more, even to find out that this is not true. But I heard that there was a guy who had set up at a convention who had nothing but AI stuff in there. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but in their sort of like display stuff that they were selling, right?
Yeah.
And the promoters kicked them out.
I think I heard this. This sounds
the promoters
familiar.
were like, we're going to ask
recently?
you. I think so.
Yeah, this sounds very familiar.
Now I'm like, I am unclear. I have not put that through my personal sort of like filter to go like, I wonder, is that right? Is that okay to do? Was there something in the terms of service of that organization, of that convention, that goes like, you can't sell that here? Or is it because typically, like I think as soon as people found out about it online, they started telling the promoter, hey, that guy there is selling AI generated art.
Yeah, my money's on that. Yeah.
Right? And I don't know enough about it. Did the guy go into the show going like, actually, no, this is absolutely 100% AI generated art, you know? And if you're okay buying it and supporting my stuff, then cool, you know? I haven't put it through my personal filter to be like, is that okay to do, to kick somebody out just because they did AI related art? I don't see the.
Well, the only way I see it kind of working is this. Okay, by having a table at my show, you're taking the spot of another artist that doesn't use this kind of tools to make life easier. So you don't deserve to be here. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I think that the only kind of acceptable reasoning behind it is this. Yeah. But on the other hand, again, it's purely ethical. Like, who am I to say that it's more ethical to, to draw and blah, 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 and maybe have, produce shitty drawings instead of, a guy who's really good at prompting in a AI. Unless, until we don't have a clear legislation about it, it's we're in this gray area, and when there's a gray area, everything becomes ethical, and it's a contrast between
right. I was going to say,
and it's really hard because who's right and who's wrong. There's no right and wrong.
If it is ethical, and again, we're presenting it as if it was an ethical call, because I'm with you, Matteo. I can't think of another angle that you could take. Those same ethics of the organization, of the organizers, they turn a blind eye to people who are making prints of characters and IPs that don't belong to them.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, it's like, so you're holding to your quote unquote ethics in regards to this, but these guys are taking it. These guys aren't even hiding it. This guy hid this prompt is hiding the fact that he took from 50 different artists, and now he made a print out of like, Black Panther in Wakanda for it, or whatever it is. That didn't really happen, but let's say, right? So you're saying that's unethical, but this guy who is straight up drawing, Black Panther.
That's illegal. That's not unethical. That's illegal. That's stuff that's regulated by laws. So, but there's unwritten contract that we all know about, which is you'll still, they're the big publishers, they're okay with it because somehow you're still promoting their characters. So, it's they turn the other way and pretend they didn't see it. That's more or less the case here. But as you said, like it's in that case, it's there's laws that should prevent people from doing that, and people are still doing it. So it's but we live in a time in which the ethical things are more important than actual laws. So
I think the reason why this is all leading into a conversation in which Shawn is like, guys, I'm going to go 100% AI.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. After this talk, I'm like, wow, what if I just went fully leaned into the AI?
You're convinced. You're convinced that you're going to go do it.
My life could be very different with that, Eric. I could be sitting on stacks of cash.
That's how AI works, is stacks of cash. That's right. Because it's just you making AI prompts. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you're going to be.
I could do it all day long. I could be writing all of Marvel and DC scripts with AI easily.
I think Marvel and DC are writing their scripts with AI. You're not making any fucking headway there.
I think that one day when this whole AI thing will be really accessible and it would be possible to make actual, videos and shit, I think we'll be having some Inkpulp episodes entirely made with AI, with 3 aliases. How do you call them? Listen, the 3 of us. You just prompt in. Okay, they gotta bicker. The way they. So Shawn does this and this and this, and Eric is grumpy Ed and does that, and Matteo is super smart, super young, super talented.
Ed?
And
grumpy
you remember
Ed? Remember
Ed,
last time?
Last time.
Grumpy Ed.
And. And the AI is going to create 1 hour content of us, interacting the way we usually.
Dude, I'm gonna immortalize this show.
I gotta be honest with you, Shawn, Mateo. I don't want to wait until that. Can we do that now? I don't care how imperfect it is. I'll do it for me. You guys can have grumpy at all you want.
Speaking of which, can we get back to stupid questions? Can we have some callers coming back?
Yeah,
I really want to get back to that.
All right. You got it. Let's see if I can open. I was nervous when we first did it because the both of you were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like unknown and unknowable." So I was like, "Oh, I don't know if you guys liked it."
Oh, but by the way, sorry to interrupt. One last thing. One thing we should do is create a script for a 60 minutes dialogue between the three of us. And have an AI write it, and then from 1 hour, and we'll say it up front, like we have a script, and we keep talking following the script, and see what comes up. Okay. You know.
It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be like it's gonna be the best episode because it's optimized for YouTube. You know.
Oh, dude, we'll finally go viral.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Speaking of optimized for YouTube, how's this shaping up for you, Shawn? We are now close to 160 episodes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've done this, like the three of us, we've done this to the point where I'm getting a little annoyed by it. Like, how is it all coming together for you?
I enjoy it. I get to see you guys every week. I mean, this is making me rethink my whole going to conventions things because I get to see you guys here and I don't have to deal with cons. So I'm enjoying it a lot. How's it performing? It's performing better than it did before. We're growing consistently.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is more of a journey for me than a destination.
I look at the comment section of the video. I never watch the videos because it's like, it's funny. Mateo, he, I was talking about what my strategy is going to be moving forward for the book that I'm working on, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Did you listen to anything that Carl said when we interviewed him at all? Blah, blah, blah." I'm all like, "I don't listen to our videos. Like, it's not a situation where I'm fucking listening.
Not even the videos. You don't even listen to the guest during the podcast.
Right now, I'm barely paying attention to you guys. Barely paying attention.
To be honest with you, in this podcast, you're pretty interactive. Like, you're interacting a lot. So it's surprising to me. Like, normally,
this one in specific,
this one, you're talking a lot. Yeah.
Do I not talk?
I think you do. In fact,
well, I know, but sometimes you're like, you don't speak for like 30 minutes, and then we're like, Eric, and you're like, "Sorry guys, I was thinking about something else." But go ahead. You do that thing,
I want you to pay, like, go back, and if you can think of the instances in which that happens, go back and look at those videos and look at what you guys are doing. Right? The good ones.
At least we're trying.
The good ones, I can tell that you're trying. I can tell. The good ones is when you guys are actually talking to the guests, where you guys are like, bouncing back and forth with them, following up with something. And then there's bad versions of that too, like the one with Karan, when you guys were just like, "Don't even answer. I'm just going to ask you the next question again. So where were you born? Uh-huh. Okay. What did you like to do?" You were just like bombarding the guy.
By the way,
okay, I'm not going to say anything because I want to get
Shawn
in the way of that.
I wasn't, but whatever.
Yeah. Because by the time you hear it in a 2-second delay, you're like, I can't add anything to the way Shawn is just, machine gunning questions at this dude.
The episode started off with the Shawn attack, and then we got away from it, and I was feeling better, and now we're back at it.
No, it's not. I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking your style. So that's completely something different. Please take it with a grain of salt.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Hold on to this. So here's the when you guys are doing well together, I don't say anything because you're doing such a phenomenal job. You guys have a great rapport. You guys are talking about really bad fashion choices, but it's entertaining. Like, I hear it and I'm all like, damn, I want to just sit here and listen to what these guys are talking about. So it's coming from and then the other extreme, there's the third extreme when Mateo is just talking about himself. And you're like, just
do I
get out of the way of this jumbo jet. It's gonna land eventually,
Eric,
I'm just kidding.
Your
I don't
closet,
say anything. I don't say anything because you guys are doing such a great job. Ultimately, it's like whenever I hear the entertaining component and when you guys are going back and forth, especially when you're handling a guest well, especially when there's a subject matter that you guys are clearly super passionate about, I'm like, get out of those guys' ways. Let them talk. I talk enough.
Eric is a wise man.
I say Eric sees his role on this show as watching two dum-dums steer a car, and his job is to keep it on the tracks.
Yeah, if there is, I have every plan on leaving this stupid show. And when you guys put out the call on like whatever, what's that online job application site? It's like in
LinkedIn,
something, right? LinkedIn, right? Yeah. That's got to be one of the prerequisites. You know, you must have the tolerance to listen to two dum-dums talk about whatever it is that comes to their brain for an hour at least. You know.
By the way, back to stupid questions, stupid answers.
Yeah.
Do we have any?
Are we going to do that? No, we don't have any at the moment.
No, those need to be prepared. We need people to call in and leave voicemails for Eric, so we can have them.
I think so. I think it's a matter of just putting out the information. Speaking of, there is actually a call-in function to this program that we use, Riverside. If we were to go live, if we were to go live using this program, there's a call-in function where we can take on people live, but that's really super dangerous. So I'd rather have it so that we field questions ahead of time and then we can have it on here and have an opportunity to talk.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to do a live episode once. Probably two people gonna watch it, but
that might be fun to do over the holidays, like between Christmas and New Year's, when people are just like kind of hanging out. We could do it.
Yeah, the time thing would be hard because it's morning.
But
for you
right
guys,
now works, right?
Yeah,
right, but I could. Well, it's
for Italy, it works. It's a nice timing, but we can do it. Also,
we can do it.
There's people asking me online whenever I post like a reel for the show. There's a lot of people asking, like millions of people asking for an audio only version. And and are we thinking about it?
It's something I'm talking to Jamie about. That's something I'm talking to Jamie about, because there are a lot of people asking for the old version of the podcast, which is audio only, and audio versions of this, and that's something we can put on Spotify. Just video, no sound. No audio. Just Eric. Only Eric's feed.
Eric reacting. It's always stupid things that we're saying.
You guys are doing good. I
guess it's something we need to talk about. We need to talk about, because the one argument is
what's the value of audio only?
People can't listen to YouTube while they're driving on trips or stuff, because the minute you close the app or turn off your phone, it goes away.
It shuts off.
Whereas like streaming services, that's not the case. Yeah. But does that hurt our numbers if we spread over another platform, or does it get more listeners? That's the question.
You guys have these numbers in mind and in your heart. So I'm not really paying attention. To be honest with you, I just come in here and hang out with you dum-dums.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah. I've got 0%.
I think we should do it. I don't think it's gonna hurt us.
All right.
But
okay.
Whatever.
I'll Jamie said he's ready to do it. I just got to. I need to talk to you guys and see what you thought.
Awesome. Do you read the comments that go in the comment section of the streams or the podcasts?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read everyone and respond to everyone.
Really? All right.
Yeah. Why?
They seem to think that you guys are really, really funny. I read them and I'm all like, oh, these guys are really entertaining to people. That's cool, man.
Well, we are.
Yeah. Yeah. There's part of me that's like, I genuinely don't need to be there in the instances that you guys are hanging out just between the two of you and I get to watch. I'm all like, these guys are entertaining on their own. I just go in there and I'm all like, that was stupid. And then Eric, you guys laugh at it.
Eric, you are an important piece of this show, and we love you. Listen, and we want you here with us. I'm not looking for that. What I'm saying is like, this is just conversation one of 4 or 5 conversation. I do not give consent, Shawn.
This is one of 5 conversations in which I go like, I can't show up to this. So speaking of that Christmas episode that you guys want to do, like the holidays, tell me when you guys want to do that, and I'll be sure to schedule something not that on the call-in show. I mean, just everything that's not that.
Eric doesn't want to be on the show, so he can call in and troll us. That's
I'll just call in.
Well, Eric, we're planning everything. Like you'll be there, but you also wear like Santa's hat and all that stuff. You know.
I didn't know.
We want you to dress up for the occasion.
I didn't know there was a I didn't know there was a cosplaying component to my fucking.
And Shawn and I will be naked, but that's another story.
Of course.
Christmas, you've got to be naked. It's a traditional holiday.
It's what Jewish people do on Christmas.
To get naked, we're gonna get canceled really fast. Okay, Shawn, what are you working on? It's that time of the show where we talk about the stuff that's happening in the background.
By the way, Shawn, did you manage to put order in your schedule and stuff like that? I remember the last time we talked about it, you were struggling with all the commitments, family, and all that stuff that was being in the way of your work.
I have to get through this bottleneck, and then I'm going to restructure. I just have too many things that need to be knocked out like immediately. Once I get that off my right after New York Comic Con, I'll be able to think about that and make a better schedule for myself. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a likely excuse for the judge, Shawn. I did not kill them, Your Honor. I was actually I was involved with something else. Hey, if you guys had boogers hanging out your nose, I would tell you. Like right now. I couldn't tell with Mateo because he's so pixelated.
Well, you can't tell with me. Yeah, that's the same thing I was about to say. Just 1 pixel.
Did we not tell you you had a booger?
No, but like I have this schmutz on my shirt. On my
I can't see it.
I can't see it.
Right. I can't see it.
Now that you said it, everybody will know. But
it's near the end of the episode. Nobody gets this far into our recording. Nobody goes all 60 minutes, man.
Mateo looks like just a bunch of pixels. Like you're affected too, Eric, but you just look slightly blurry, so I can't see it.
Oh, how odd. All right. My daughter is a little bit under the weather, and I was trying to hold her while she had snot running down her nose, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm just going to jump into this freaking stream. But
you could walk up to your serial killer fashion closet anytime you wanted and picked out a different black t-shirt.
Dude, I love my serial killer fashion closet. I just realized I did all my laundry.
I think that's the bump. I think that's the Jamie bump right there.
I looked at I looked at my closet and I'm like, holy crap. I'm blindsided by it how many black shirts I have. I love that closet, man. I never have to think about what to wear.
It's a Nazi Filipino serial killer closet.
Nope. Nope. We're going to be in so much trouble. You don't say shit like that on YouTube. We're going to get in trouble. All right, Shawn, what are you working on, pal? Let's get this thing done.
I finally just finished a commission before the show started. I am coloring the raid cover as we speak. It's on my Cintiq, on the Cintiq that you sent me. Thank you, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And working on painting one of the Marvel cards all at the same time. And I have a gallery event tonight that I got to head downtown soon for.
Now, you guys are getting mentally amped up. In about a month and a half's time, you guys are going to be in New York Comic Con, no?
Yep. About a month. Yeah. A month exactly.
A month. Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be October 12th to the 15th.
Okay. You're both sitting at Central Sequential. Maddie, what are you working on? How many of the 50 covers did you finish yesterday?
I finished one. No, yesterday I didn't finish a cover. I finished a commission for New York. And I forgot to tell you, I finished the cover that I only did pencils for, and the great Elia Bonetti painted it. Oh, and that is something that I'm gonna do more often from now on because it's fucking amazing. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys later. Yeah.
Please do.
I'll send it to you. I can't show it now because it's for something that hasn't been announced yet.
But I want to see it.
But it's beautiful. We did this thing. We wanted to do this kind of Leyendecker Saturday evening journal. What's the name of the thing? The Post.
Saturday Evening Post.
Yeah. So we did something in that style, and it looks beautiful. So yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be doing more covers of that book in the future. So I'll be sharing them with you. Because,
can you say what book it is?
Not yet, because it hasn't been announced yet. So I don't want to spoil anything. But I will do it when the time comes.
All right. What about you, Eric?
I'm working on my serial killer closet right now. I've just ordered 3 or 4 more shirts, different shades of black, for next couple of days.
Whoa, a little variety, Eric. Can you handle the variety? Different shades of black.
I'm trying. I'm expanding my parameter and see if I can get away with it. Let's see. I'm working on.
And Matteo and I are going to chip in and send you some colorful items for your closet.
Don't do it. He's going to get sent right back. Why don't you just take the money that you're spending on it, go get a pair of scissors, cut it up, and put it in the trash can? Because that's exactly what's going to happen if you send me anything with color in it.
All right. Go ahead. What are you working on?
What am I working on? I'm currently working on tying up the script for book 5 for Arcathena, the dialogue script. So I just put the final thumbs up to that when my editor took a polish pass on it. I'm currently working on the strategy of how to make, and we were talking about this offline before we went on air, is to come up with a strategy of like, how do I make this thing so that it has sustainability? And that's an ongoing conversation with a lot of different experts in the room. We're talking to a lot of people behind the scenes saying like, how does this work for you? What's the best sort of strategy that you can implement? I know it's vague, but as soon as I have something a little bit more tangible, then I'll be able to like talk about it more liberally and openly.
Sure.
Then just recently, I showed it to you guys in our group chat, the style that I'm trying to facilitate so I can draw this faster. We had a great conversation again before we hit the record button about the benefits of, scaling back detail, but still maintaining something that's sort of like, how would you say, like complete? You know what I mean? Like details and all that stuff. It doesn't make anything more robust. It's just more detailed. So I'm going back to the storyboarding style that I used to do back when I was doing storyboarding for animation and seeing like, is this still good? Does that still feel comfortable? So that's been exciting, exhilarating, and nerve-wracking at the same time. So.
Cool. That's awesome.
All right,
by the way, guys,
I'm out of here.
I didn't realize that I was still using the microphone on the wrong side. So finally, Jamie told me, "Hey, Matteo, I was looking at the last videos that you guys shared, and you still using the microphone the wrong way." So it was the position of the shield was right, but the microphone itself was turned the other way. And now finally,
you're talking into the ass end of the microphone.
Yeah, I was talking here instead of the right side. And now I finally found out when you see it is there's a metal circle. That's the right side of the microphone. And Jamie was nice enough to me to tell me.
Jamie needs a fucking raise.
So finally, after 20 episodes, I think we got it, guys. I'm using the microphone properly.
All right. I will say this, Matteo, you might have just changed Jamie's life with the hookup you gave him recently. That would be huge for him.
Right,
oh, really?
I gotta go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stop this right now. We'll talk later. Bye.
This is the Inkpulp podcast. This is the Inkpulp podcast. Comics, hip hop, life. Bye.